right, from Cyclone Stadium, welcome to tonight's broadcast of high school boys varsity lacrosse as the visiting Blue Devils take on the Eastern View Cyclones. I'm Mark O'Connell, joined in the pregame, of course, by my partner Jeff Say, and then the man in the middle is Culpeper head coach Robbie Wysick. Coach, thanks for joining us tonight.
Absolutely not a problem, gentlemen.
All right, well, it's good to see you. One of the things I want to talk about is I couldn't help but notice that your team is sporting some new uniforms. I liked your reaction, what you said about that.
For some reason, these kids, they get new gear, and it's just, the latest and greatest. And anything I can do to get my guys hyped up, worth every penny.
Yeah, and who's to say that new uniforms don't give some sort of psychological advantage, make you feel good in what you're wearing? Certainly not going to hurt, and you'll probably take any advantage you can get.
I'll take whatever I can get. I'll take luck over skill any day of the week.
All right, I'm going to turn you over to Jeff just a second, because the last time we saw you guys play was at Broman Field against Eastern View. It looked like it was, fairly close to the fourth quarter. And Jeff, we saw a very decisive fourth quarter.
I was going to ask, Eastern View went on that 6-0 run, and that really was the difference in the game. What happened out there defensively?
Well, right there at the end of the second quarter, we gave up that big penalty, and, it was a defenseless player got hit. It's in the rule book, completely understandable, and Eastern View took complete advantage of it and went on that huge run to end the half, and I guess just mentally that killed my guys, and we just never could get back in it and get on our feet because we were up 6-3, and then next thing you know, it's 8-6, and not much we could do about it. They went on the run and got the momentum, and lacrosse is a game of runs, and they got on a run, and they pretty much stayed on it.
Offensively, what is the keys to tonight's victory?
Run, and keep shooting, and shoot some more, and keep firing cannons. We've gone to work ever since that Charlottesville Eastern View week where we lost back-to-back. It kind of woke the guys up. They got a little, I don't want to say hate in their hearts, but they went to work. We've been putting in some work. It showed the other night, and we're hoping it rolls over into the night we've deemed this revenge week. We got Charlottesville Monday. We took care of that. Now it's time for us to take care of Eastern View.
You got a burr in your boots.
Oh, I've got a whole rattlesnake in my boots. I've got a whole rattlesnake down there.
Well, hopefully you got some tricks up your sleeves tonight for Eastern View as well, here at a very windy Cyclone Stadium.
We've done some work. We've got, you'll just have to watch and see. We've got I don't want to say too much. I know Frazier can't see the broadcast, but I'm excited to see what happens.
We wouldn't dare tell him either.
I would hope not. This will be the last interview.
I'm certain of that. It takes a while to develop trust. It takes a second to lose it, right?
Absolutely.
All right, Robbie, great to see you. Thanks for taking the time out to join us in our pregame, because I know you've got a lot of pregame drills that you want to see going before tonight's game. Good luck, and it's as always, it's great to see you.
Yes, gentlemen. Thank you so
Hey,
much.
thanks,
Appreciate
Coach.
y'all being out here for the kids.
Yeah,
All right,
no problem.
Appreciate it, too.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Have a
so
good one.
much. All right, well, that was Blue Devils head coach Robbie Wysick, and in a moment we hope to catch up with Eastern View head coach Chris Frazier. All right, joined now by Chris Frazier. Chris, great to see you, and it's very windy here tonight. Boy, this Cyclone team is aptly named, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a little feel the wind. Hopefully we get a lot of it tonight.
We're feeling a lot of it up there because we've had to secure that door twice. I said, this really is Eastern View Cyclone country, isn't it? Speaking of which, you see the Blue Devils tonight for the second time this season. Over at Broman Field, you guys had a very solid, decisive fourth quarter. How do you see that? What happened in that game from the Eastern View standpoint?
I'm able to make a couple adjustments at halftime, come out and do things a little bit different, not change our game plan too much, but just do some little things different, and it helped us out.
Well, I really thought Matt Greenfield played extremely well in goal that game. How important is it to see his development this year?
It's huge. I mean, he came in as a kid who had never even picked up a stick 2 years ago, and he's worked extremely hard to be a really good player and be a leader on the defense, which, is just huge for us.
Oh, Mark mentioned that run that you guys went on against Culpeper. That came off of a penalty. Are you having the guys look out to be able to try to get, kind of get those calls in your favor?
It's one of those things, you get them, you get them and you don't. You got to take advantage of them when you do. those things are hit or miss whether you're going to get them or not. So it's here or there. But when we get them, we got to capitalize and we got to score.
Well, that was the first win for you guys in 2 years. How much of a confidence boost is that for the Cyclones?
It's big. I mean, you see it in the guys. I mean, there's more of just a regular confidence of like, hey, we have it. That we don't have to worry during the game. It's just keep playing our game, and that's all we can do. And they've really embraced it.
Well, Coach, you guys have been busy since the Blue Devil win, haven't you? Because I think you mentioned you're 1-4. So since then, you've played Monticello, Kettle Run, and Orange. In fact, you were most recently in action Monday night against Orange. You played over at Prospect Heights. And your assessment of that game?
Came out a lot better than we did the first time against them. Kind of knew what to expect, and then they have a couple guys that are just really good players, and they took over. And I mean, teams are going to go on runs. We just ran out of time to go on ours.
Well, both teams tonight. I think tonight, at least for the Blue Devils, sort of makes their midway. You're sort of approaching that midpoint in the regular season, and in the final minute we have with you. Where do you see your team right now, assessment-wise, near the midpoint of this season?
Still working on a couple little things, but definitely moving in the right direction and have the right attitude and right stuff moving forward.
All right, well, it's great to see you. Wish you a lot of luck tonight. We're looking forward to calling the game.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, it's always good to see our coaches, Jeff, and both are so well-spoken. Both are energetic. They've got that high-level enthusiasm for the sport. For Culpeper, it was a transition easily, really, from Scott Found to Robbie Weisick. Weisick played under him. And the same thing with Chris Frazier. He played under Scott Found. Scott's the common denominator in that.
It is. And then Frazier replaced Steve Spielman, who was here since the inception for the Cyclones. So they're both coming in and taking over for iconic coaches, and both are still really looking to gain their footing. Another big win here tonight would certainly help cement that for either coach.
Jeff, looking forward to calling the game with you. We'll take a break. We are live tonight here on the Culpeper Media Network. After our break, we'll come back for the opening face-off as the Blue Devils and Cyclones go at it again for the second time this season. Stay tuned. You're watching Blue Devils and Cyclones Lacrosse on the Culpeper Media Network.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. More than just a respected funeral home, Found & Sons supports youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530.
From Cyclone Stadium, welcome to our broadcast as the Cyclones and Blue Devils set to face off here in varsity action boys high school lacrosse. And so we start the game as always with a face-off. You'll see the Blue Devils tonight decked out in some new uniforms. Gray is the dominant color, gold numerals, and Eastern View wearing the white jerseys and blue helmets and blue shorts. Hello everyone, I'm Mark O'Connell, joined by Jeff Say and man behind the camera, of course, Johnny Krawchuk. Welcome aboard, Jeff. And we are live tonight. We hope the viewing audience will enjoy tonight's broadcast and game. Of course, anytime these two teams get together, Jeff, you can pretty much take it to the bank. It's going to be an exciting encounter.
Well, we just had a broadcast about a week ago between these two teams, 15-7 in favor of the Blue Devils. They came back, went on a 6-0 run late in the second quarter, and ended up using that to win. A big penalty did not go the way for the Blue Devils, and the Cyclones were able to pull that one off. Interested to see if they're able to capitalize on that momentum.
On the initial charge, the Blue Devil player lost possession, and now the two teams will see who could come up with it. Looks like it's going to be the Blue Devils there. Number 19. Ball loose in front of goal. And Eastern View comes away with it. That's Jacob Roman. Here come the Cyclones. So, Jeff, we are at Cyclone Stadium. It's very windy tonight. We pointed that out in our pregame show. And of course, there'll be quite a bit of sunshine and a little bit of glare. So we'll have a little bit of trouble picking up some of the action, but we'll get through it, won't we?
We always do, but that wind, you have to wonder if that's going to affect some of the passes. If it's going to affect the teams. We see our first penalty flag being thrown. I think that's going to be against the Cyclones, Mark.
And that may be against Connor Weeks there, number 3.
And he's pleading his case, but I think they caught him red-handed.
So Connor Weeks, as you pointed out, first man in the sin bin, as you like to use the vernacular or jargon. And early on in this first quarter, the Blue Devils here have a man-up situation.
Well, we saw the Blue Devils do well in that situation. Jacob Roman, Brandon Bonfadini, we saw them moving the ball around very well against the Cyclones the last game.
Well, here are the Blue Devils setting up on offense. A little bit of delay in the action. There we go. There's the signal to get it going. So the Cyclones and Blue Devils been fairly busy since we saw them last year. Eastern View's 1-4 on the season. Their lone win is against Culpeper.
And it's the first win they've had in 2 years. We were talking with Coach Chris Frazier about what a momentum boost that is for them. That really builds their confidence. And they played well against Orange, but on Monday, but Orange just had a better run of it.
And Coach Frazier was saying, when you look at how that game played out, he said, they've just got a couple players that really just sort of stepped up for Orange, and you have a couple players who tend to excel. That can be a lot to account for.
And we saw Orange here in the first game of the year against the Cyclones, and we saw a couple of their players really step up. They've got a good team. They're fairly new program within the past 3 years, but they have a lot of talented players.
Head coach, a gentleman by the name of Tony Ferrone. He's from New York. One of the assistant coaches is Alan Miller, who I know well. And that was a thrilling win for Orange County that night. Of course, they then defeated Eastern View this past Monday, and they played the game in Orange. They played it at Prospect Heights Middle School. All right, here are the Blue Devils. And we got whistle and we got stoppage.
Mark, I've only been to Prospect Heights once or twice in my career, and if I remember correctly, there's no press box.
No.
The bleachers are minimal.
Right. Bleachers they're on one side, really, and no press box. They just use a table to keep score and stats and that sort of thing, and a clock. So here's Eastern View taking a shot, really the first one on goal taken by either team tonight. And we get a save credited to Culpeper's Riker Simpson. He seems to be maybe a little shaken up on the play.
I think so, yeah. It seems like he took that one to the midsection area, and then the Cyclones forced a turnover, and now they're going to have it back on offense, and Simpson's still back there hurting.
And, Connor Weeks had gone to the penalty box, but he's back on the field, so both teams at full strength. We're scoreless here. 8:34 to play here in this first quarter. We are live tonight, and, of course, our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air at 718-7556. Well, the shaken up goalie, of course, we mentioned is Riker Simpson. He's being talked to by head coach Robbie Wysick. It was nice to have both head coaches in our pregame show, Jeff.
Yeah, we were mentioning that coaching tree that they've both come from the Found coaching tree. I guess you could say they're Found sons. And, that Wysick played under Found in 2007, and then Chris Frazier was there. He came in around 2000. I think he graduated in 2011.
We said 2011. All right, Jeff, Cyclones here, looking to create a little offense. They do have one shot on goal. Stop. Here's a defensive play by Tucker Dean. We mentioned his name several times in the broadcast against Eastern View, didn't we?
Yes, he's very strong defensively, really good long stick defenseman, able to make some big checks in there.
Evan Edwards has it for the Cyclones. Ball is loose, and it'll go over to the Blue Devils. Well, again, we're scoreless. Just under 8 minutes to play here in this first quarter. I mentioned that both teams have been pretty busy since they last played. Eastern View comes in tonight's game with a record of 1-4. And the Blue Devils are 2-4 overall. They have wins against Charlottesville and Fluvanna. And as Robbie Wysick pointed out, tonight really marks the midpoint of the season. They have, this is game 7. They have 14 games scheduled for the regular season, Jeff, and so they're really at the midway point here are the Blue Devils.
Well, I really like that he called this revenge week, citing that Charlottesville loss earlier in the season, coming back and beating them on Monday, and now they have Eastern View in their sights.
Here's a shot on goal that bounced over the cage and looks like it's going to go out of bounds. It'll be a turnover to Eastern View. Well, you know, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Found & Sons, more than a respected funeral home. They support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530. So, Jeff, you know, next week is spring break. I'm sure you're well in tune with that. You have kids in school. And then after the break, Robbie Wysick was telling us just how busy they're going to be. They're going to play 3 games during the week that follows spring break. They're going to be really busy. Here the Blue Devils winding up, cranking one, finding top shelf. And let's see who got it. It's going to be number 19 for Culpeper. Why do I not have him? Let's see. Let's see if I can get a name. You don't have him either? Okay.
Well, the goal is number 19, and I'm sorry we don't have his number with the name up here, so congratulations on that.
Very interesting.
That looks to be somebody, well, I was going to say maybe somebody they just called up, but that's a very tall player. If that's a freshman, that's the tallest freshman I've ever seen. So it could be, but maybe they had some number changes too, Mark, with these new uniforms that they have acquired.
It could be.
We'll have to get to the bottom of this.
We'll get to it. We'll identify number 19. You know who made number 19 famous, don't you? No, I'm thinking football.
Football, 19 famous.
When you think of 19, you got to think.
I was going to say Scott Mitchell, but that can't be right.
Oh, here's on the run taking a shot. This was wide of the mark. Blue Devils up 1-0. Okay, so Jacob Roman is not wearing 1, he's wearing 19. All right, good to know. That's a fun little fact to share, isn't it? Here's Connor Weeks on the move for Eastern View. Slips between 2 defenders, takes a shot. And this, we've got a save. The ball was out in front. Eastern View trying to keep possession of it. And Riker Simpson and the Blue Devils currently enjoying a shutout, but we're at a lot of action still to unfold here as we approach the midway mark of the first quarter, turning it around, trying to take a shot. The ball got away from him. And then Matt Greenfield, no problem corralling it, getting it out of there. But here come the Blue Devils back on the attack if they can keep control.
Well, one thing Robbie Wysick talked about was his team speed, that he really wanted to use that to their advantage, and they're really pressing it tonight. It's one thing I've noticed, but also defensively, I'd like to point out that last play, Nathan Kuick made a nice defensive stop for the Blue Devils. He was the defender that blocked that shot before it got to goal.
Yeah, this one is going to be high of the mark. All right, Eastern View, or rather Culpeper in possession. We got some substitution on the fly. Again, jersey number 19 tonight is Jacob Roman. He has the lone goal so far.
But it only makes sense that Jacob Roman would score that goal. He had 6, I do believe, against the Cyclones the last game. And he is really where the offense is going to go through for Culpeper. It's Jacob Roman, it's Brandon Bonfadini. We've seen Jacob Mills in there a little bit. So Roman really is their offensive catalyst. And we see that early on here tonight.
As the two teams take a break, we'll tell you this broadcast is brought to you in part by Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. 547-3673. Also, cash imprints. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with cash imprints. 317-1473. Well, one of the things that Coach Weisick said during our pregame, as far as what they were going to do tonight, run. Emphasis on run. Run, and run some more, Jeff.
Going to use the legs there, Mark. They're really going to work on that conditioning. And that's one thing, I mean, Culpeper's always been known for having a pretty quick team, fast offense. And if they're able to wear down the Cyclones and have their conditioning kick in, I mean, that's exactly what Robbie Wychick wants to see happen.
Well, after the timeout, action will resume with 5 minutes and 35 seconds to play in the first quarter. We are at Cyclone Stadium. This is the second meeting between the two teams this year. They'll meet twice during the regular season. Eastern View a winner over Culpeper at Broman Field. Tonight, Blue Devils looking for a little revenge. And as you pointed out, Jeff, they were able to avenge one loss this season to Charlottesville when they defeated the Black Knights earlier this week.
I enjoy the Black Knights. That's a great nickname. Makes me think of Scooby-Doo.
All right, this is Roman on the move. Getting away from the defenders, only to lose the ball, at least momentarily. Let's see who comes up with. It's going to be Eastern View. So it's a turnover to the Cyclones. Upfield, they get it to Connor Weeks. Here is Weeks. Looks like he's going to slow it down and wait for the offense to set.
Well, that was a great fake by Weeks. I thought he was going to pass it off, maybe over there to, I think that's number 7. Is that Donovan Elliott that is in the X position? I thought he was going to go to Elliott, but great fake out. Now they're just playing it slow, methodical, trying to set up the offense.
All right, well, it begins with Connor Weeks. Let's see what Weeks has up his sleeve. As Tucker Dean. Tucker, ball loose, turning around, taking a shot, and beating the goalie there was number 10 of Eastern View. That is Austin Tingler. Ties it up with 4:11 to play in the first quarter, Jeff Say.
That was a nice shot right there by Tingler. There was a rebound that hadn't made it through to Simpson and bounced out, and Tingler was able to get a bead on it and be able to get a nice shot past Simpson with 4:11 remaining, tie ball game 1-1.
Back to the face-off for Eastern View, Nolan Natali, and for Culpeper, Jacob Roman. 1 all our score, 4:11 to play. Let's see who can win this one. Always important to do so. Coming away with it, Eastern View's Davion Wilkerson. Wilkerson will look to Connor Weeks for help, and Connor Weeks gets it going. Thought about it there for a second and sort of backpedaled out of there as the offense sets up. And now in the X area they go. This is Elliott, isn't it? You know, Donovan Elliott in that X area. There he is. So Elliott will walk it up to the middle of the field. And then some as he gets out there on the perimeter. Now let's see how the Cyclones set up here. Clock continues to run, 3:25 and counting first quarter. Here's Elliott. Gets a pick. Makes a move, takes a shot. This one was to the side of the cage. So no problem there for Riker Simpson. And the Cyclones will keep it.
That was an interesting play right there by Elliott as he held on to it the entire time, switched sides of the field and went to that right side and tried to find an angle. You have to wonder if that's something they've seen on their scouting reports, that Simpson's weak on the right.
Well, they've seen Connor Weeks come off the wraparound, have the Blue Devils, and he's really dangerous with that. He can get through traffic and find a way to score, and finding a way to score right here is Eastern View's Evan Edwards, who bounces it in there past Riker Simpson. And just like that, the Cyclones have a 1-goal advantage with 3:04 to play here in the first quarter.
And once again, just like I said a moment ago, they went to that right side against Simpson. Nice passing. Weeks did a good job of drawing the defense around with him, and then he was able to find an open Evan Edwards. And so that's a couple of names that we haven't called a lot for the Cyclones. Evan Edwards and Austin Tinkler scoring for Eastern View to give them a 2-1 lead.
All right, I think we have a different face-off player there. Is it Ben Steffen of Culpeper and, of course, Nolan Natale of Eastern View. That's Natale fighting for it still. Blue Devil player there in traffic. Good stick work until it's knocked out of bounds by Nolan Natale. And Eastern View will have it. So a good defensive play there by the Cyclones. And on the whistle, Evan Edwards will control for the Cyclones. Here's Edwards across midfield. Coming in for Eastern View is Davian Wilkerson. Now we'll get it over here to Connor Weeks on the wing. Well, Weeks draws a double team at first, and they go back to this man defense here. Weeks looking for an open, looking for a teammate, winding up, taking a shot. This one is deflected from the goal. We'll give credit to Riker Simpson there. The Cyclones will inbound it back in possession here.
Well, Mark, the one thing I'm seeing here is they're using Connor Weeks as the decoy, that he's pulling the defense towards him, and then he's looking for an open player. Now, right there we saw Tingler take another shot, just a little bit off the mark, but Tingler has one of the goals along with Evan Edwards so far.
I think the Blue Devils have to be very aware that Connor Weeks can come around on those wraparounds and dump that ball in the goal, even in traffic. You know, he knows he's going to get hit, but he holds on to it long enough. He did that to them a couple of times in that last game, didn't he? And I think that they were certainly well aware of that. Here he is here.
Well, Mark, one thing I find interesting is what did Robbie Wychik say to us, that he wanted his team's speed to be the difference for the Blue Devils tonight, and what's Eastern View doing? They're slowing it down.
Well, Weeks was trying to, looks like, unleash a shot that sort of got away from him, and it sailed out of harm's way. Cyclones run it down to stay in possession. A minute 25 and counting first quarter action. Cyclones up 2-1 here at Cyclone Stadium. Here's Connor Weeks taking a shot. This one hits the post. And ricochets out of there, out of bounds. Past that in line, rather. And Cyclones closest to it will keep it. Plenty of time to work another shot as Connor Weeks currently in control. Now the Blue Devil defense sets. Here's the player taking a shot. This one is deflected from goal by Simpson. Another save for him. Tucker Dean fighting for it. But the Cyclones keep it. Up top. Donovan Elliott back to Weeks. Now back to Elliott. He's going to wind up, take a shot. This one's high. Looks like it hit that
that's the
crossbar.
That's the second one off the post in the last two shots.
And finally, the Blue Devils were able to get down on this side of the field as the final 20 seconds appear on the clock, and the time is stopped here for the moment. Both teams substituting. And here's the whistle. Get the clock going. Blue Devils will try to get a shot here. All right, Like to spread it out. Losing his footing and losing the ball was Roman. Trying to come away with it. Final seconds ticking down. There's the sound that signals the end of the quarter. With 1 quarter in the books, Cyclones 2, Blue Devils 1. We'll take a break, come back for the second quarter right after this.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. More than just a respected funeral home, Found & Sons supports youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530.
Welcome back to Cyclone Stadium, set to start the second quarter of action with the Cyclones on top of the Blue Devils 2-1. I'm Mark O'Connell, alongside Jeff Say, Johnny Krawchuk, the man behind the camera, and in the studio, the Culpeper Media Network is, of course, Nicole Wooten. We are live, we mentioned that, and our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air at 718-7556. Well, Jeff, 1 quarter in the books. What were your observations for the first quarter of both teams' perspectives?
Well, the Blue Devils were doing exactly what they want to do. They were trying, when they had the ball, they were trying to show their speed. They were trying to be quick with it. Eastern View, the last 6 minutes of the quarter, slowed it down. They controlled the ball offensively, and that's when we saw them taking a 2-1 lead on goals by Austin Tingler and Evan Edwards. Jacob Roman put the Blue Devils on the board first, but the Cyclones controlled the pace of the game late in the first quarter.
Jacob Roman comes away with it, tries to dish it off to a teammate in front of goal, but they lost control, and now Natali brings it across the mid-stripe for Eastern View, and Cyclones will slow it down and get into a settled situation here with its offense. Number 3, of course, is Connor Weeks. Number 7 is Donovan Elliott. Those are a couple of players that offensively you're just going to hear their names frequently. And that's the way it is because the offense tends to run through these guys.
And this is what they did in the end of the first quarter. They just were real methodical. Just hanging on to the ball, waiting for the right pass, making the deliberate moves.
And they're certainly being deliberate here. Here's Eastern View. Donovan Elliott here on the move. He's going to try, well, looks like he's going to decide to start back over with the offense. Here's a shot, and this one is scored by Connor Weeks. So Elliott thought about it. He went back around in that X area, decided to get his teammate Connor Weeks, and Weeks unleashed the shot, and just like that, 3-1. That took 1 minute and 18 seconds in the second quarter to give Eastern View a 2-goal lead.
And Weeks, that time, he's been the one that has been in that, running around in that X position. We were talking about his wraparound shot. That time it was Elliott who dished it off to Weeks for the score.
Exactly. Well, Finn Steffen is the face-off specialist tonight, or at least at this point for Culpeper, and of course for Eastern View it remains Nolan Natali. And off the face-off, Natali will eventually come away with it. He's taking some hits. No whistle. Now we have one. But that's going to be a timeout taken by Eastern View. Okay, Jeff. So let's think about what we knew about both teams. We saw them in action, Roman Field. And it was very close. but the fourth quarter was very decisive. But of course, really the pivotal moment had to be that non-releasable penalty against Culpeper, where Eastern View really took advantage of it and just sort of raced out and put some distance between the two teams. Now tonight at 3-1, early moments of the second quarter, do you see any advantage at all for either team?
Just that Eastern View is controlling the ball on the offensive side. They're keeping control of it. They're playing their tempo. They're not letting the Blue Devils get this into a track meet. They are being very methodical, I think is the word that we've used a couple of times. They're passing the ball. They're looking for the right player. So Eastern View is controlling the tempo of this game so far, Mark.
Well, you know, you mentioned the track meet, and even though those weren't the words that Coach Wysick used specifically, he did say we wanted to run some more and then keep running. So, yeah, maybe the counter there for Eastern View is to try to slow it down and slow them down.
And I'm impressed if that's Chris Frazier's strategy, that they've looked at the tape, they saw the last game, they knew that they couldn't compete with the speed that the Blue Devils have, so they've gone to this real slow down, almost stall type basketball offense where they're very deliberate with their plays.
This is Elliott taking the shot. This one's wide of the mark. They are. I just don't want to slow it down to where it looks like the old North Carolina Four Corners offense, Jeff. And we'll never have a shot on goal.
Now, I was just thinking about that. That was kind of where I was going with it, but there's been too many shots on goal for that already tonight.
Coming back the other way will be the Blue Devils.
Was that before Roy Williams?
Yes, that was Dean Smith.
That was Dean Smith, okay.
Yeah. Turning it around, taking a shot in front of goal and denying him. Matt Greenfield gets the save. Cyclones look like they're going to come away with it, at least for the moment. Then we'll get in traffic and it'll be anyone's ball. And the Blue Devils come away with it. Taking a shot. This one a nice save again by Greenfield. I believe that was taken by Cole Plaster. How did the ball get back in there, Jeff?
So Greenfield had it. He was flipping it, trying to get possession of it. He just had it dribble out of his net. And then number 9,
Jacob
Mills for the Blue Devils was right there. He had rushed the net to challenge Greenfield on that pass. And when the ball came forward, Mills was able to steal it and score. Beautiful play by Mills.
Yeah, and really a play that certainly Matt Greenfield's going to lament, because he'd turned back a couple of shots only to lose control like that. So it's got to be a little disappointing for him. 3-2 ball game right now, 9:29 to play here, second quarter. Cyclones holding a 1-goal edge. We go back to the face-off, of course, following the goal, and Eastern View's Nolan Natale returns to that position. We've seen Culpeper use Finn Steffen there. And let's see if they've switched it up. It is back to Jacob Roman off the face-off. He wins this one. Here's Roman. Remember, he scored the game's first goal. He's been in traffic. He took some hits. He was able to hold on to it for the most part until finally they did jar it loose, but it looks like the Blue Devils may get it back here. And number 3 is Brandon Bonfadini. That's him right there.
Mark, we've talked about how important those ground balls are. And right now, in this quarter, it looks like the Blue Devils are the ones that are coming away with those ones. And when you win those ground ball percentages, it leads to good things like we just saw happen with Jacob Mills.
So the Blue Devils will restart their offense. Clock running, 8:40 to play, second quarter action. 3-2 our score in favor of Eastern View. This is Cole Plaster. Gets it over here to Brendan Bonfadini. They keep it between the two of them for now. Plaster on the move. Got a teammate down there looking for an opening. Takes a shot and scores. Well done. That was number 9 for Jacob Mills for Culpeper, and we're tied up, Jeff. 8:15 to play here in the second.
Well, that was Mills once again. He had scored just a moment ago, and then they called his number. A nice pass, and Mills cutting towards the goal and being able to beat Matt Greenfield once again. And we're right when it looked like Eastern View was in control of this game, all of a sudden, Mark, we have a tie game.
3-3, 8:15 to play. Back to the face-off. This broadcast brought to you in part by Cash Imprints, from shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints. 317-1473. Sun's starting to go down here at Cyclone Stadium, Jeff.
The wind is still picking up, though, Mark. I was mentioning this has been the windiest April that I can remember in some time. All year has been windy. We had the windstorm in January, and we had the snow. It was windy last week. It's windy again today. So this truly is Cyclone Stadium here tonight.
Well, I mean, it's been so windy here that it has slammed doors shut even after we tried to keep them propped. But I think Dave Richardson's got those secured right now. Eastern View off the turnover, but they're losing it themselves. That was Davey and Wilkerson. Are you feeling what I'm feeling?
So we
were just talking about the
you were
wind.
just talking about those doors being secured. I just took a door in the back.
Hope you got a strong back. Well, you got a chair between your back and the door, right?
It was a glancing blow.
Here's Roman cranking one that Greenfield makes a nice save.
Just a flesh wound, if you will.
Yeah, just a flesh wound. So that's one of those things, you just sort of shake it off and get back in the lineup, right?
Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah, rub some dirt on it. 7 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Eastern View in possession. It begins with Connor Weeks. Or Elliott, rather. Now it's Connor Weeks. Right now they're in man-to-man there. And they switch. Giovanni Crisaro wears number 24. And Tucker Dean, 26 for Culpeper.
They've been playing strong defensively, and along with number 4 Nathan Kuick back there on defense for the Blue Devils, they've been doing a really nice job.
Wow, that was number 7, Donovan Elliott. He was on the move. He got away from the initial defender and then uncorked it there and found the net. Past Riker Simpson. Now the Cyclones go back on top, 4-3, near the midway part of the second quarter with 6:15 to play.
Well, we knew it was going to be a close one. And,
sure
and that's what we said, the first games. We expected it to be extremely close, and then Eastern View was able to capitalize on that non-releasable penalty. And so I think it's going to take something like that. It's going to take a mistake that one of these two teams are going to have to capitalize. Otherwise, it's going to be just like this. It's going to be back and forth with them, trading an advantage and tying the ball game up.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. So, Cyclones back on top, and they get to work their offense again. And as you pointed out, they are being methodical, Jeff. They're taking their time and looking for openings and that sort of thing. Not in a hurry at all.
Why is every time I hear the word methodical, I think of like a Batman villain?
That I do not know. I think that one may have hit that post, Jeff.
That's the third shot we've seen come off a post tonight.
Evan Edwards backpedals a little and dishes it off to his teammate. Now back to Edwards across the field. And back to Donovan Elliott. He's going to work now in that X area. Elliott will look for a teammate. He's got one out there. Taking the shot and scoring is number 3, Connor Weeks. Jeff, doesn't that kind of feel like deja vu from Elliott to Weeks again?
That's almost identical to the play that they ran earlier. This time, Weeks was able to come to the middle of the field to take that shot. Before he took it from the wing. This time he was able to have a little bit of running room. and bring it back in for a 5-3 lead with 4:56 remaining. And now looks like the Blue Devils have called a timeout to slow things down and to talk about strategy.
Well, as they do that, we'll tell you this broadcast is brought to you in part by Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. 547-3673. And also Fountain Sons, which is more than a respected funeral home. They support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. That's Fountain Sons at 825-3530. So 4:56 to play here in the second quarter, and it's 5-3 in favor of the Cyclones. We mentioned Eastern View comes into tonight's game with a record of 1 win against 4 losses. Culpeper 2-4 overall. They've lost recently to Brentsville District, to Hanley, and but they beat Charlottesville 15-1, which avenged a previous loss to the Black Knights.
And if I'm correct, that Hanley game was at Hanley, so that would have been an afternoon game.
Yeah,
because Hanley does not have lights.
Or could have been on a Saturday.
I was going to say on a Saturday. They play a lot of their games Saturday in the afternoon because Hanley still does not have lights. Probably one of the few high schools in the state that do not have lights on their field.
You know, maybe that's even a part of the claim to fame and nostalgia.
It probably is. From what I understand, it has something to do with them being in town limits, that there's a light pollution sort of thing that they are unable to have lights.
Well, I wasn't aware of that, but you know, during football season, we've gone up there a couple of times, and it's always been a Saturday
always
game.
a Saturday game. I always enjoyed those.
Yeah, built, you know, architecturally a lot like the University of Virginia.
Yeah.
Have you been up there?
Yeah, I have been up there, yeah.
Pretty nice. I mean, and when you go there, you know, you certainly immediately notice the distinction. All right. Teams back in action here. Eastern View has it. Up 2 goals. And again, they go back to what we talked about, slowing it down and being methodical, working their offense, and really letting Donovan Elliott find Connor Weeks. This one, I believe, was deflected or hit that post, one of the two.
That was right off of Riker Simpson. Simpson made a good save on that one. You could see him watching that one in the whole way.
Right there in front of goal, turning around. This one, Simpson got some help from his defensive teammates up front. Break that one up. Ball's in the air. Coming away with it, taking a shot, and Simpson makes a save on the attempted shot on goal there by Eastern View.
And that was Joshua Houghton, and that might have hit the side of the net too. He was at a very tough angle there. It was a good try.
Simpson's been pretty busy, and I'm glad he's probably able to see that ball down the other side of the field right now.
Well, you have to think that Simpson was banged up too early in the first quarter. You have to think if he's still feeling the effects of that play from early on.
On the whistle, Culpeper goes on offense. Number 19, Jacob Roman, scored the game's first goal. And you know he'd like to get back into the scoring mix here as the Blue Devils spread it out. They'll look for an opening.
Roman has one of the Blue Devil goals, and Jacob Mills has the other 2.
All right, here is Roman. Clock continues to run. Under 3 minutes to play here in this first half. This is Roman, one-on-one. Taking a shot. This one's wide. And the Blue Devils stay on offense. Good defense there. Ball loose. Bonfadini came with it for a second. Now we got action. This one again is hot to handle. Nobody seems to want it right there.
The old hot potato.
Even there, it's finding a little difficulty getting the handle.
Well, there's a delayed penalty on Eastern View, so as soon as the Cyclones touch it, they're going to be turning it over.
Shot. This one was well wide of the intended mark.
1 minute slash against the Cyclones. And it looks like it's going to be against
As soon as you can pick up that number.
I'm waiting to see. It's number
12.
Number 12. And that's Andrew McCartan.
Andrew McCartan to the penalty box. 2:11 to play. Man up advantage here for the Blue Devils if they can take advantage. That was Mills with a catch and shoot, but this was offline and didn't find the net, but the Blue Devils keep it. Bonfadini back to Jacob Roman winding up. He takes the shot and he does find the net. That's about where he wanted to be because they got it to him over out in front of goal, centered in position. He was able, Jeff, he had time to wind up with that and take a good shot.
Yeah, that was a real nice play by Bonfadini, and they set that one up nicely. And that was Bonfadini at the goal? Or was that Roman? That was Roman.
Roman, or did we say?
All right, that was Jacob Roman.
Yeah, it was Jacob.
But that was the pass from Bonfadini.
Right.
I confused myself.
Well, I think that Roman is confusing us a little bit tonight because it's tempting to look for him as jersey number 1. Well, here's another goal, Jeff. Just like that, when we were thinking about how we're going to analyze the game, all of a sudden, Culpeper comes back, and they get a goal this time from John Gillen.
Number 10.
How about that? Now we got a tied game just like that. So this is another example of how you can have such a fast-paced flurry of action when you least expect it.
Well, and we talked about this was the type of game that we're going to have tonight. It's just going to be back and forth, trading leads, being tied, having somebody taking advantage. And right there is what we've talked about with what the Blue Devils wanted to do all night, and that's be quick and quickly get down the field, quickly score goals, use their speed to their advantage, wear down the Cyclones. And for most of this game, Mark, we've seen the Cyclones run their game plan, which is slow and methodical. Now we'll be able to see if the Blue Devils are able to use that track speed to pull away.
Well, Jacob Roman had it. Nice defensive play made there by Andrew McCartan. Broke it up and went down the field. Connor Weeks lost it out of bounds, and the Blue Devils will take over with just under a minute to play here in the second quarter. We're tied up 5-5, and this is, well, just about where you thought we'd be, right?
We knew it was going to be a close one. And this is about where we were late in the second quarter of the last game. It was tied up, and then the Cyclones went on a 6-0 run.
I think they're going to have to reset this clock.
They're setting it to 103 is what the scorekeeper is saying.
Well, we're mentioning that we're live, and of course our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air at 718-7556. All right, under a minute to play. Blue Devils on offense, come down the field. They'll look right here for a player who got a little bit in traffic. Good defensive play, knocked it loose. Two teams will fight for it to see who can come away with possession. 40 seconds and counting. Coming back the other way on the turnover is Eastern View's Natale. And now Connor Weeks will wait for his teammates to set. Slow it down, look for a shot. We got 25 seconds and counting. Here is Weeks on the move. And we got a steal made there defensively for Culpeper. I believe that was Nathan Hewick.
We've called his name a couple of times. Hewick's played a strong defensive game along out there with Tucker Dean and a couple other defender. There was another defender's name we had called, Giovanni Corsaro. We had called his name earlier. So those three playing some strong defense in front of Riker Simpson tonight.
Reset the clock again. A little delay here as they reset the clock. And it's going to be 2.7 seconds to play here in this first half. Yeah, I'm still waiting on resetting that clock.
They're trying to get it to 0.7 seconds on the clock. There we go.
Oh, now they want 7 full seconds, not just 7/10 of a second. Now that can make a difference.
Well, that was confusing because what I heard him saying was 0.7.
Well, they got 7 seconds. As they heave it downfield, something could happen depending upon possession here, but the final seconds will run out, and neither team will be able to take the lead as the first half expires. Our team's tied 5-all as they head to the break. All right, we'll take our halftime break and come back for the start of the third quarter. In the meantime, keep it right here on the Culpeper Media Network.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. More than just a respected funeral home, Found & Sons supports youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530.
All right, welcome back to our broadcast. We are at Cyclone Stadium. Halftime is about over. We're getting ready to start this third quarter. Mark O'Connell, Jeff Say, Johnny Krawchuk with you tonight from Cyclone Stadium, and Nicole Wooten back in the studio at the Culpeper Media Network. All right, 5-all, Jeff, as we start the third quarter. How did you see things in that first half?
Well, let's just run down through the scoring summary. Jacob Roman kicked it off for the Blue Devils, made it 1-0. Then Austin Tingler and Evan Edwards for Eastern View scored back-to-back, essentially. Made it 2-1 in favor of the Cyclones to end the first quarter, and Connor Weeks made it 3-1. Jacob Mills made it 3-2, and then Mills tied it up, made it 3-3. Eastern View came back, scored 2 in a row. Donovan Elliott and Connor Weeks made it 5-3. And then in the final 2 minutes of the first quarter, Culpeper scored twice in the span of about 22 seconds. Jacob Roman cut the lead to 5-4, and then John Guillen tied it up at 5-5. And Mark, that's where we're at coming into the third quarter.
And guess what? Opening 10 seconds of this third quarter, and Jacob Roman finds himself in the penalty box for 1 minute. I think it's a slashing call, Jeff.
Well, if you'll remember, Mark, that Roman was the player who had the unreleasable penalty the last game, and that is when Eastern View went on their run. So could we be seeing a repeat?
Guess we'll find out as Connor Weeks hooks up with Elliott, and they spread it out here. They go back to Elliott, who wears jersey number 7, Donovan Elliott. 5-5 our score. Be interesting to see what adjustments both teams' coaches made at the intermission as the ball is loose, and Blue Devil defender there, who said that was Tucker Dean. Well, you know, the Blue Devils are showcasing some new uniforms tonight.
They're sharp. I like that. I like the gray.
Connor Weeks' pass out there in front of goal, broken up, goes out of bounds. off a Blue Devil player. Eastern View stays on offense. Winding up, taking a shot is number 7, Donovan Elliott. Whizzed that one past Riker Simpson. 6'5", 10:47 to play here in this one. What do you see in that play, Jeff?
Well, that was the power play situation. Jacob Roman was still in the penalty box there, and that led to that goal by Donovan Elliott. Connor Weeks bringing that ball in after the Blue Devils had turned it over there defensively. They were trying to get it out. Weeks got the ball back and immediately went to Donovan Elliott for the score.
Golden Natali back for the face-off for Eastern View, opposite Jacob Roman for the Blue Devils. No control yet. Oh, that's a false start and technical violation against Culpeper, so Eastern View back on offense here with it. A 1-goal lead. Now, let's go back to that first encounter between these two teams. It was close, but it was that decisive fourth quarter by the Cyclones that really made the difference in that game, Jeff.
It was, and right now, man, the Cyclones, nice pass inside. That was to number 15. Was that Joshua Hott down there? They were trying to find him. Real nice play. But that's what we saw, was that Eastern View really poured it on in the fourth quarter in the second half. So curious if they're going to try to pull off the same type of strategy. They're moving a little bit quicker now than they were in the first half.
Connor Weeks weaved his way through a little bit of traffic there. Got a shot off. Riker Simpson for the stop. Cyclones stay in possession here. It's Evan Edwards. Ball loose. Blue Devils come away with it. Coming this way, at least for the moment. Jacob Mills takes the shot. That was off the left-handed side too, and wow. Nicely done by Mills. And Jeff, how many goals does Mills have tonight? Does he have the hat trick?
He has the hat trick, and what a beautiful backhanded goal that was. Just did a really nice job of coming across the defense and then flicking that backhanded shot by Greenfield.
So, tied again, 6-all. It was 5-5 at the intermission. Then early on in the third quarter, Eastern View went up 6-5, and now Culpeper has answered. We're back to a tie. Winding up, taking a shot this time was Donovan Elliott. No goal. All right, here come the Blue Devils. I'll make that the Cyclones, brother. David Wilkerson is out there. And 6-6 our score. Under 9 minutes to play here in the third. Eastern View looking for its second win of the season as Weeks loses, or Elliott rather, lost possession. Weeks comes over to help out.
And good defense once again there by Dean, doing a really good job of being physical, poke checking, trying to get that ball away. Eastern View's offense is, hanging on to it. They're doing a really good job of possessing the ball here tonight.
And Austin Tingler's in that mix. He's in the middle of the offense there. Fake it to him, and then turning around and taking a shot was Evan Edwards. Saved by Simpson. He's had a pretty good game in goal tonight, Jeff.
Yeah, Simpson's done really well, and like I said, he was banged up there early in the first quarter, and then he's been rallied since then. And he's done a really nice job of being able to stop some big shots. He's had a couple come off the post right beside him, but he's maintained his composure.
A little delay in the action here. All right, on the whistle, Evan Edwards gets it started for Eastern View. Now here's Connor Weeks. Being defended there. He gets away from the first defender. Makes a move, takes a shot. Simpson got his cross on it. Deflected it away from goal. Eastern View keeps it. And again, this is Donovan Elliott. Got a whistle, and it looks like we're coming back the other way. And it is going to be Blue Devil ball. See what they can put together. And that is Cole Plaster, Jeff.
And Plaster showing his speed, and that's what Coach Rob Wychick said he wanted to see happen, was he wanted to see this team run, and then run some more.
As Aiden Steins of Eastern View lost it out of bounds, and ball back over to the Blue Devils. 7 minutes to play here in this third quarter. Blue Devils have slowed this one down. This broadcast brought to you in part by Fountain & Sons, which is more than a respected funeral home. They support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Fountain & Sons at 825-3530. We're tied up 6-all here in the third, and here's a turnover to the Cyclones as it goes out of bounds and back to the Blue Devils. Mentioning to you our supporters of Blue Devils and Cyclones across on the Culpeper Media Network, including Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive is the keystone of service and the cornerstone of our community at 547-3673. Still windy here, Jeff.
It is really whipping down here. And I know that the wind will whip across this area. I've been over in the sports complex on the soccer fields when it feels about 10 degrees cooler than it really is. But tonight, I noticed when I came in and I parked and I was watching a little bit of the baseball game, and the flags in the outfield mark were straight. I mean, they were just straight as an arrow. It was that windy. It's probably, I'd say, a good 15, 20 mile per hour clip through here.
There's a crank shot taken and a save made by Greenfield. Blue Devils got it back and trying to punch it goal from short range. Unable to do so far. Jacob Mills winding up. And this one was just to the right of the goal. And Greenfield was there ready for the Cyclones.
A plethora of pressure, if you will, down in front of that goal. And Greenfield doing a really nice job of being able to stay in control and keep it out of the goal.
Okay, so Brandon Bonfadini is jersey number 3. 19 is Jacob Roman. He currently is in possession. Roman thinking about it, winding up and taking a shot. Off the mark. Blue Devils keep it. Mills again. I'm going to try to run this one down for crosses that midfield stripe, and he does. Being defended there by Eastern View's Austin Tingler. Ball is loose. Cyclones, Davian Wilkerson currently has it. Stick check there, knocks it loose. Here come the Blue Devils again. Nice move there.
Back and forth, and this is that track meet that I was talking about. This is where the Blue Devils will have an advantage.
That was Cole Plaster on the move. He lost it, but the Blue Devils keep it. Back up top, the guy with Cole Plaster, jersey number 2. 4:09, clock ticking, third quarter, 6-6. Tied here at Cyclone Stadium. That can change in an instant. Cole Plaster, Brandon Bonfadini. Exchanging passes. Here's Bonfadini on the run. And he almost beat Greenfield, but Greenfield stayed right with that one, Jeff, to deny him.
Real nice shot, but man, Greenfield watched that one in and then we have a little bit of a scrum going on down here for the ball. You know, it's been really back and forth on these ground balls, which has been incredible to watch.
Both teams really persistent, trying to find some advantage over the other. But it's been back and forth as we expected it would be as the Cyclones come back the other way. This one's going to go out of bounds, and it's going to turn it over, I believe, to the Blue Devils. And you know, this broadcast brought to you in part by Cash Imprints, you know, from shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints. 317-1473. See if the Blue Devils can hold on to it. There was a nice body check there by Eastern View. Back on offense. There's Connor Weeks in traffic. Draws a double team. Well, they certainly honed in on him, didn't they?
Well, Weeks was open one-on-one against the goalie, Simpson, and they were able to quickly converge on him and knock the ball away, because if you get Weeks one-on-one, it's a dangerous situation.
And he just has some nice footwork and stick work, doesn't he?
He is. He's just smooth. Just very, very precise in his moves.
2:20 clock ticking, third quarter, 6-all. Cyclone Stadium, second meeting this season between the two teams. Blue Devils there on the run, trying to get it over to the teammate, looking for a shot on goal. Denied as Connor Weeks comes back for the Cyclones. Here's Weeks being defended, ball is knocked loose. Weeks gets it back. This is where you need that really good stick work. You got all these big sticks coming at you. Trying to jar it loose. A save by Riker Simpson off the shot by Evan Edwards.
And Tucker Dean down there doing work on the defense for the Blue Devils. He's the one that blocked that weak shot. Then he came back and was able to knock the ball away from Donovan Elliott on that shot just a moment ago.
Good awareness by Zach Dixon there, number 8, as he avoided a hit that might have jarred that ball loose. It looks like the two teams have taken the timeout. But we'll tell you, you know, we are live, and our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air at 718-7556. So Jeff, I was telling you early on, man that made number 19 famous in the NFL, fellow by the name of Johnny Unitas.
I was going to say Johnny Unitas. I don't know why. I made a Scott Mitchell joke there a little bit ago. I don't know why I didn't think of Johnny Unitas.
I'm not sure who Scott Mitchell is, but I'll say this. Speaking of quarterbacks.
Played for the Miami Dolphins.
Who's that?
Scott Mitchell.
Oh, okay.
So maybe late 90s, early 2000s. I don't know why that was the first 19 that jumped into my head.
Yeah, I don't remember him. But speaking of quarterbacks, looks like there's another Manning on the horizon.
And is he looking at UVA?
That's what I've read.
That's what I've read as well.
So his first name is Arch. That's short for Archie. You know. Arch Manning. How about that? I think he's Peyton and Eli's nephew.
Yes, it's the other brother's son.
Cooper?
Cooper, that's
it. Cooper?
Cooper. I can never remember Cooper's name.
Yeah, Cooper. I'm not sure what the birth order is. Cooper, Peyton, and Eli.
I think Cooper's the oldest.
Okay.
I think it's
probably
Cooper.
Peyton.
I think it's Cooper, Peyton, and Eli.
And then of course, the nephew, Cooper's son, is Arch. So I look forward to seeing him to see how he, comparisons obviously going to be inevitable. We come back to action here in this lacrosse game. It's pretty much what we thought it would be. It's going to be back and forth, unless some team can find a decisive advantage. I mean, the last meeting, we talked about that decisive fourth quarter. A lot of damage was done by Eastern View when the Blue Devils had that player in the penalty box on a non-releasable penalty.
Yeah, this has been a really tight game, and it's been back and forth. There really hasn't been anybody who's truly held an advantage. At the end of the first half, Eastern View's offense was really slowing it down, controlling the tempo, but now both teams' offense seems to be clicking as the goalies are playing some really good games. I think that's something we have to point out. Greenfield for Eastern View and Simpson for CCHS are stopping a lot of big shots.
And I'm glad you brought that up. I was just thinking that lacrosse can be a very high-scoring game. But then you have a play like this by Greenfield, as you pointed out, and his counterpart, Riker Simpson, they're keeping it a close game. It's 6-6 as we wind down here late in the third quarter. It was 5-5 at the intermission. And like you say, you know, there are some shots on goal, but you got guys like Greenfield making a stop, except for this one, unable to do that one. As looks like Culpeper's number 10, John Gillen.
Jacob Ehrman.
He got 11, Jacob Ehrman. I had number 10, John Gillen on the score. Isn't that how you saw it, Jeff?
I had 11.
You had 11? All right, that would be Jacob Ehrman. That's him right here in the bottom of your screen.
Well, that's the big goal right there with 13.9 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Ehrman getting his first goal of the game.
I don't think we've really called his name this season, have we?
We haven't.
Back to the face-off. Jacob Roman resumed that duty for the Blue Devils. Nolan Natali, of course, for Eastern View. Here come the Cyclones trying to tie it up. Final seconds. Elliott takes a push, goes to the ground. Final seconds have ticked off. There is the siren that signals the end of the third quarter. And this one witnesses the Blue Devils in the quarter with a 1-goal advantage, 7-6. And you look at this, the team right there, they're pretty fired up. All right, we're going to take a break, come back with the fourth quarter. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. More than just a respected funeral home, Found & Sons supports youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530.
All right, welcome back to our broadcast and to the start of the fourth quarter. As we start this quarter, the Blue Devils enjoy, if you will, a 1-goal lead. And the reason I use the word enjoy, Jeff, is I was watching just how enthusiastic that team became after they got that last goal.
Yeah, it really pumped them up, and that's something that we were talking about. You know, both these teams have come in with a renewed sense of confidence. Culpeper, they just beat Charlottesville. They have these brand new uniforms that's really, you know, boosted their confidence. And Eastern View coming off that big win against the Blue Devils, and their first win in 2 years has really helped pump them up. So both of them are feeling their oats, if you will.
Well, as we start the fourth quarter, obviously it's anyone's game, and with, you know, a 1-goal advantage. So, you know, if the last game is indicative of how this one may turn out, then somebody's going to take control. Otherwise, it's going to go down to the final seconds.
I have a different feel about this game.
Do you?
That last game, you know, you kind of felt like somebody was going to run away with it after Eastern View went on that 6-0 run. This game, I don't know. I mean, it has just been back and forth. Both teams want this one, and you can feel that they're, you know, just still. It feels like a prize fight, that they're landing, you know, body shots and then waiting for that one big knockout blow.
Working the body and waiting for the hands to drop so you can hit the head. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
As they would say, or break it down in boxing. As Connor Weeks keeps the pace a little slow until just now. He's getting in between two defenders there, and he finds his teammate, Donovan Elliott. Elliott lost it, and there's a battle for it, and we have a whistle. And they're going to say Eastern View possession. So do you see this one going down to the final seconds, Jeff?
I do, and I have that word floating around in my head, Mark, that
What word is that?
overtime. I just have that feeling tonight that it's going to be one of those games. Well, we've seen some overtime thrillers by these two teams over the years.
Look at Connor Weeks' stick work there, and finally lost it in traffic as Riker Simpson takes possession. Here's his pass. Jacob Roman corrals it. All right, here comes Roman in the Blue Devils. Roman's got a player who turns and shoots. This one's wide, and that was Culpeper's number 10. I still say it's number 10, isn't it? Yeah, that's 10. It's John Gillen, but you said the scorer was Jacob Ehrman, number 11. That
Yes,
last goal.
he was. Yeah, that was the first time we'd called his name.
Well, it's nice to know Gillen is in that mix and not on the bench. So that would have been a faux pas on my part, Jeff.
He was in there, but
What are you talking about? Yeah, you know, I can just hear the. You know, it's nice to know if you're not calling the right number. At least the guy's out there, right?
they're close by. You're digital.
In other words, they're neighborly.
And they're neighborly.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is what you're seeing right now for our viewing audience is the reason that we get so excited about when these two teams play, because they're so evenly matched. And here's a shot. This one cranked out there on the perimeter, and I believe it was Mills. We'll have to check that. But both these goalies, as you pointed out, had a great game. It's really kept the scoring down. It was 5-5 at the intermission, and it's 7-6 here 3 minutes into the fourth quarter. Bonfadini tosses it to Jacob Roman. Defending there is Davian Wilkerson of Eastern View.
And I said do a double take there. For some reason, I thought there had been a score in the fourth quarter, but there has not been a score yet.
No.
In the final quarter.
Back up top and losing it for the moment. This is Bonfadini. Coming out to defend is Andrew McCartan. Now Jacob Roman has it. David Wilkerson matches up against him. So the Blue Devils, who, like you said, wanted to run, keep fast tempo, have here taken a shot and another nice save by Matthew Greenfield. Have they slowed it up some and become a little more methodical?
I feel like here in the fourth quarter they have slowed it up. They're not going and doing the fast break like they were earlier on. That they are now trying to set up their offense. They have a lead. They're trying to milk it a little bit.
Right. Jacob Roman. David Wilkerson marks up against him. Here's Roman. Over to Bonfadini. Bonfadini looking for an open teammate. Now he winds up, cranks this one wide of the mark.
Well, the Eastern View defenders have been doing a really good job, and Culpeper's defenders too, of getting in front of shots, blocking shots, kind of steering them out of the way of their goalies. So while we've talked about Greenfield and Simpson doing great jobs, which they have, their defense has done a really nice job. We mentioned a few of the Culpeper players. Aiden Steins for the Cyclones has been very impressive. He's down there. So usually when the defenders are doing their job, Mark, you're not hearing their names because they're blocking the shots and they're being able to get it out of there, and they're not giving up the goals.
Well, isn't that what they mean by that yeoman-like work? As Jacob Roman spun and on the defender there, Davian Wilkerson, and made a spin move and took the shot and beat Matthew Greenfield. Well, you can't stop them all. Greenfield's turned back a whole lot of shots tonight, as has his counterpart Riker Simpson, but Jacob Roman there gives the Blue Devils an 8-6 lead. I think that's their biggest lead of the game.
It is. That's the first 2-goal lead that they've had, and that is, I do believe, that is a hat trick for Jacob Roman now.
Or is it a hat trick plus one? You're going to tally it up as we go back to the face-off. Jacob Roman against Nolan Natali.
He had a hat trick last goal, and so this was the hat trick plus one.
Hat trick plus one. There's a nice hit by Donovan Elliott. But keeping possession is Jacob Roman. Look at this stick work here as he got through two defenders. Held on to it. Bonfadini comes over to corral it. And defending against him is Eastern View's Andrew McCartan. There's McCartan. Bonfadini spun away from him. All right, lining up, taking a shot. Well, not a very strong one. Well, this one somehow makes it back in. So this is on the putback is going to be John Gillen. Now you can't tell me that's not number 10 that time.
That time it's John Gillen. And what happened on that was, again, very similar. And it happened in the second quarter was that ball just trickled away from Matt Greenfield. Greenfield had possession of it there, and I think it just bounced away from him. And then Guillen did a really nice job of being able to get it back in the goal.
Right now, is Culpeper, you think, establishing some distance now between themselves or itself and Eastern View? Or is it too early to tell?
I feel like if I say they are, then Eastern View is just going to rally and come back and score a couple goals and get right back into it. Well, it's that type of game.
And we got a penalty flag. A second penalty flag comes in. Connor Weeks was in possession. He ran into some traffic and he took some physical hits along the way. Went to the ground. Let's check the penalties here, because this is a situation where Culpeper, depending on the penalty here, they don't want to hurt themselves like they did that last game where they had that player in the penalty box non-releasable. Eastern View really went to work. The officials confer here about what's really going on. 6 minutes and 22 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. Blue Devils currently enjoy a 3-goal advantage, 9-6. But I got a feeling we got some.
So we're going to have two. I thought we were going to have two Cyclones in the box. Right now it looks like it's Finn Steffen.
Two Cyclones or Blue Devils?
I'm sorry, two Blue. Did I say Cyclones?
Yeah, it's fine. How many we got there?
So it's the Blue Devils. So it's looking like it's Finn Steffen for the Blue Devils in the penalty box.
He wears jersey number 30. There he is.
So he'll be in the sin bin. He's the only Blue Devil that was penalized on that play. I thought there was going to be two separate calls.
I did too. I saw two penalty flags comes in. Well, what we know for certain then, with Steffen in the penalty box, we have an advantage here to the Cyclones. And you know that they were able to capitalize on a similar situation that last game. They're going to start it here with Connor Weeks. And now they go to Evan Edwards. All right, here's Edwards being defended pretty closely. Lining up, taking a shot, scoring is, I believe, Evan Edwards. No, I'm sorry, it was number 7, Donovan Elliott. Didn't take him long to take advantage of that power play, did it, Jeff?
25 seconds from the last goal to Eastern View's goal right now, cut the lead 9-7. So, but that was a releasable. So now we're back to full strength for the Blue Devils. And I've always wondered, if it's one of those games that it's back and forth like that, and you've got somebody in the penalty box, you've got a decent size advantage. I'm not saying you give up the goal, but it's not backbreaking if you give up the goal, because then you're back to full strength.
Exactly, and that was the difference tonight than what we saw in that previous game where that non-releasable penalty. And Eastern View really took advantage of that. So now it's 9-7, both teams back to full strength. 6 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. 9-7 Blue Devils. Back on offense goes Jacob Roman for Culpeper. Davian Wilkerson, defender there. Cole Plasters, number 2. Here's Roman. Making a move on Wilkerson, taking a shot. This was wide. This broadcast brought to you in part by Cash Imprints. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. Ball now up for grabs. Davian Wilkerson has it for Eastern View. looking for a teammate there in number 15, Joshua Halt. And the Blue Devils will come away with it.
And there's Ehrman. We called his name again, getting it down the field.
Jacob Ehrman. Cyclones trying to come back the other way. Connor Weeks trying to get possession. We had a couple of Cyclones collide. No damage, of course, on the play, and Donovan Elliott currently has it for Eastern View.
Well, Mark, this is an interesting period of time for the Cyclones, because do you really try to press it and try to take some shots like they did right there?
By Connor Weeks, which was high of the mark, yeah.
And that gives the Blue Devils back the ball, or do you try to really work your offense? You've still got about 4 minutes and 30 seconds left, so that's plenty of time in lacrosse, in the lacrosse parlance, to be able to score 2 goals to tie it back up.
And I'm wondering if you're the Blue Devils, if you start thinking that clock can be your friend. We don't really have to score. We got a 2-goal lead. Let's take some shots, but let's use that clock as well. They did take a shot. This one did not make the goal. I think it hit the post. And then it became a free ball. Eastern View came away with it. We got some substitutions here. For Eastern View is Connor Weeks. Going to slow it down and set this offense. Now the Cyclones trail by 2 goals with 3 minutes and 45 seconds remaining here in the 4th quarter. And defending out there is number 24, Giovanni Corsaro of Culpeper. You've mentioned him a lot. Tucker Dean, where's number 26. A couple stalwart defenders doing a good job for the Blue Devils, certainly helping out the goalie, Riker Simpson, who's had a good game for Culpeper, as has Matt Greenfield for Eastern View. Talked about that, and you mentioned the defenders, so this kept the scoring down some, as Donovan Elliott trying to find an opening there. 15 is Joshua Halt. Now back to Elliott.
Watch Connor Weeks back here. Oh, and they were trying for him. Nobody was on him. He had room to run if they were able to complete that pass.
And then with this pass, not on the mark, it goes out of bounds, and we have a turnover to Culpeper. And this is that can be really a big play, because you get possession. If you can control it, start working that clock. If you're the Blue Devils, you got a 2-goal lead, and of course, Cyclones are well aware of that. They're not going to be surprised by it, but let's see which team can control it. The Cyclones are going to have a couple goals. They go downfield, they cross the midfield stripe. Here come the Blue Devils. Cole Plaster got away from it, took a shot, and beats Matt Greenfield. That was Plaster all the way, Jeff. He got away from the defender. Nice spin move. And he worked himself into a situation where it was one-on-one. And we've already talked many times about that, whether it's soccer or lacrosse, one-on-one always favors that shooter.
It does, and what speed showed by Cole Plaster. It's one thing we talked about, is that the Blue Devils wanted to run tonight. Well, that's what Cole Plaster did right there. That was a fast break the whole way, and getting that one-on-one, a nice spin move to get away from a defender, and then he was able to beat Greenfield with a nice shot.
Sure was. Well, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Found & Sons, which is more than a respected funeral home. They support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530, 2:30 to play. Clock running here in the 4th quarter. And Blue Devils enjoying, again, a 10-7, a 3-goal lead late here in the game. And they have possession, and this is Jacob Ehrman, number 11. They don't have to be in a hurry, as Bonfadini now has it for the Blue Devils.
And this is what you talked about. This is where the clock is the Blue Devils' friend. They can take their time. They don't need to rush any plays.
That's Bonfadini backing out of there, looking for a little help. Defending, Evan Edwards. This is where stick work, good passing will pay off for the Blue Devils. And the Cyclones will need a turnover, Jeff. Jacob Roman there in that X area.
Well, dare I say that with 1:35 to go, I don't know if the Cyclones are going to be able to score 3 goals that quickly. And it's really looking like the Blue Devils are going to complete their redemption week.
Jacob Mills, rather, in the X area. They get it out there for a shot, and Matt Greenfield is there for the save. Greenfield, again, coming up big for the Cyclones.
And Greenfield's played a great game, and so has Riker Simpson. This has really been a nice defensive battle. 10-7 isn't a high-scoring game, as especially some of the ones we've seen in the past.
Yeah, and this is a call. We got stoppage on the plate and a timeout taken, I believe, by Eastern View. So it's 10-7 in favor of the Blue Devils with 1:11 remaining. And this broadcast is brought to you in part by Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community at 547-3673. And of course, we mentioned that we are live, and our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. All right, Jeff, say 1:11, 10-7 Blue Devils. We know that things can happen very quickly in a lacrosse game. Goals can come in bunches, and right now, the Blue Devils, or the Cyclones rather, need several.
Well, if I'm the Cyclones, I'm trying to get the ball to Connor Weeks or Evan Edwards or Donovan Elliott and get it there quickly. And try to, if you score one and then win that face-off, go down there and score again. If I'm Culpeper, I'm trying to get a turnover. I'm trying to get possession of the ball and then just run that clock out. Play keep away.
All right, starting here for the Cyclones is Donovan Elliott. Clock is a factor, approaching that 1 minute mark as Connor Weeks works in the X area. We try to come around on a wraparound. There he is, watch out. He does score. And that was a defensive breakdown, Jeff, because they knew exactly what he was going to try to do. And Weeks got loose one-on-one, and he beat Riker Simpson. And now it's a two-goal game, 10-8, with 53.7 seconds showing on that scoreboard clock.
Well, that was just a nice shot by Connor Weeks. We've talked about him coming around that goal and that wraparound all game long, and this time he's able to execute it. He gets a little jump shot and is able to beat Riker Simpson. Now it's up to Eastern View to win that faceoff, Nolan Natale to win that one, and then get the ball back to Connor Weeks, just like they do right there.
Well, there he is, Connor Weeks going back to work. There's a shot. And denied that time.
Could you have scripted that any better?
Well, if you're the Cyclones or the Blue Devils.
Well, if you're the Cyclones, you're going to want it to go in the net.
Right.
But in terms of how that play was executed, Nolan Natale was able to push it forward. Weeks gets some speed up. He's able to pick it up on the run, win that ground ball, and go take a shot.
Yeah, and so if you put it that way, then I say you're exactly right, because you got Weeks in possession with his speed and his dodging ability and stick work. That's the guy you want to turn loose and try to get one-on-one and unleash a shot, at least with that momentum behind you in Connor Weeks.
And if you're Culpeper, the script went right that it went off the crossbar.
Come on out. See some good soccer for the last 2 nights, and then
a lot of spring sports going on.
Spring break.
A lot of sports during the spring. We have lacrosse here tonight, then we have softball, baseball.
Soccer was the other night. There was a really good Eastern View and Culpeper soccer match last Saturday.
Was this boys or girls?
It was boys, and it ended in a 1-1 tie. Oh, I'm sorry, 0-0 tie. It was 0-0 tie. Double overtime, 0-0 tie. I knew it was a tie.
Well, I don't think you can play it any closer than
no.
that. All right, well, following this timeout, we have 41.1 seconds showing on the scoreboard clock. And on the whistle, it's going to be Eastern View. And it's going to start with Donovan Elliott. You have to be mindful of that clock. Watch Connor Weeks on that spin move and a shot. Riker Simpson was able to get a stick on it and deflect it away from goal.
I was going to define that as sweeping it away.
Mm-hmm. All right, Davian Wilkerson takes a shot. He got really close. If you're Simpson, you might be looking at your defender to say, how about intercepting him where he gets that close again?
Well, I keep watching Simpson. He was banged up there early in the game, but man, he does not seem to be showing any effects of that right now. That was a real nimble move he just had.
All right, they heave it down the field trying to burn some time. Cyclones eventually come away with it. 5 seconds and counting here in this one. Looks like the Cyclones may run out of time. They take another shot. Riker Simpson is there for the save, and that's how the game is going to end. And perhaps it's only fitting that on the final shot, Riker Simpson gets a clean save, and now his teammates swarm him.
I was going to say, and rightfully mobbed by his teammates, because that was a masterful performance tonight by the Blue Devils defense and Riker Simpson. They stopped so many big shots. They slowed down this Eastern View offense that had really dominated in the last game, and then they had moments and pockets of dominating during this game. But the Blue Devils defense persevered, and they did a really nice job of being able to hang on. So that redemption week that we heard from Coach Robbie Wychick earlier in the day when he was talking about them coming back and beating Charlottesville on Monday, redemption week, revenge week has been completed.
Well, I was going to say it at least continues. Is there anyone else to avenge, or is that's on their schedule? Maybe not, but it's got to be particularly sweet for the Blue Devils to avenge that loss against Eastview. What an exciting game, though. We didn't have to go into the OT.
I did. Maybe I jinxed it by saying overtime.
Yeah. So, well, Jeff, enjoyed calling the game with you tonight. And of course, working for the Culpeper Media Network. We appreciate our sponsors, Nicole Wooten back in the studio, of course. Well, once again, our final score here from Cyclone Stadium: Blue Devils 10, Cyclones 8. For Johnny and Jeff, I'm Mark O'Connell saying thanks for watching and supporting Blue Devils and Cyclones Lacrosse here on the Culpeper Media Network. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and we hope to see you again soon. So long, everybody.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. More than just a respected funeral home, Found & Sons supports youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530.